today. So today we are going to start your semiconductor devices section from the same chapter. Okay, this is the chapter number first from your section 2, right? So in this section we are going to learn your PN junction, then transistor, transistor as an amplifier, transistor as a switch, and the switch mode power supply, that is your SMPS. Okay. So in this part of this chapter, brief the theory of semiconductor is explained to understand the construction and the working of diode and the transistor. So a semiconductor device is an electronic component that relies on the electronic property of a semiconductor material for its function. And the semiconductor devices have replaced your vacuum tube in the most of the applications. So the semiconductors are the tetravalent atoms known as an intrinsic semiconductor. Their conductivity lies in between the conductor and the insulator. So what is the conductor? That are the good flow of your electricity, and insulator that opposes the flow of electricity. So your semiconductor lies between these two. Practically, they are prepared by adding the impurity atoms to form p-type and n-type semiconductor, right? So this process of adding impurities is known as a doping. Okay? The doped semiconductor are known as extrinsic semiconductor. And in the semiconductors, current flow due to motion of two type of charges, that is electrons and holes. Let us see the difference between your P and N-type semiconductor, right? There are two types of semiconductor, P-type and N-type. So N-type semiconductor, they are doped with pentavalent atoms, and the P-type semiconductor doped with the trivalent atoms. Your N-type semiconductors, electrons are majority charge carrier, whereas in your P-type, the holes are majority charge carrier. And here in the N-type, your holes are minority carrier, and in your P-type, the electrons are minority carriers, right? So I told you, in case of your semiconductor, current flows due to the motion of two type of charges. So holes and electrons. These two are your what? These two are your two type of charges in your semiconductor. Okay, electrons and holes. Pentavalent atoms gives electrons and trivalent atoms create holes, therefore called as an acceptor atom. Okay, so here the electrons are called as a donor atoms. So your antimony, arsenic, phosphorus impurity is required, and here in your P-type, aluminium, boron, indium, gallium impurities is required. Okay. So this is the difference between N-type semiconductor and P-type semiconductor. The first topic from this chapter is not for us from this chapter, from this section. Okay, we are on the first chapter, on the same chapter. Okay, so first is your PN junction diode. Okay, so the semiconductor diode is similar to a wall diode. Here, P-type semiconductor is joined with N-type semiconductor. Hence, it forms your PN junction diode. Here, P-type silicon and N-type silicon both are joined together, and they will form your PN junction. The P-type material is acting as, because it contains the majority holes anode and N-type as cathode due to majority of electrons. Okay. So your holes are positive and electrons are negative. Okay. This is your P-type and this is your N-type. And by combining both, we can generate your PN junction. So there is a one point term related to this PN junction, that is your barrier potential. So as soon as a junction is formed, some of the electrons from N region near the junction. Okay, so some of the electrons from your end region near to the junction crosses the junction and fills some of the holes of a p region. Means this p region means the some electrons from n region will jump on the holes of your p region. Since the atoms of n regions loses the electrons, they become the positively charged ions, and since the atom of p region accept the electrons, they become the negatively charged ion, right? Thus opposite type of ions are produced, means positive ions on n side. Okay, means here the some holes are jump from this side to this side and some electrons jump from your n type to p type. So your holes become your electrons and some electrons becomes your holes. So the positive ions on n side and negative ions on p side near the junction. Okay, so these ions oppose further flow of electrons from the n to p region and the flow of holes from p to n region. So this opposing force is a force of ions is called as a barrier potential, and this region is called as a depletion region. Means this middle region, this black one region, is called as the depletion region. Okay, why? Because this some of the electrons from your n type will jump on the p region and some of the holes from your p side jumps on the n region, right? Hence the region is get created here in between your p n junction, and this region is called as a depletion region. Okay, this is your depletion region. So p n junction diode, p n. This is, yes. Then again there are two terms in your p-n junction diode. First one is your forward bias and second one is your reverse bias. So in your reverse bias and in your forward bias, let's see what happened. In case of your forward bias, bias means to apply voltage across the p-n junction. Okay, this is p, this is n. Okay, bias means to apply the voltage across your p-n junction. In forward bias, the anode is connected to positive terminal. Okay, this is your anode is connected to the positive terminal and cathode to negative terminal. This is to negative terminal. Okay, so it shows the maximum current through the diode, and in forward bias the resistance of diode becomes very low and diode is acting as a closed switch. Okay, in case of your forward bias. And in case of your reverse bias, what will happen? Here we perform the alternate connection. Means we do the reverse things. Okay, we connect the positive. Means we switch the connections. Okay, so in your reverse bias, this is another way of connecting the diode. The P region means your anode is connected to the negative terminal, right? So here P is connected to negative terminal and N is connected to the positive terminal. In forward bias, we connect the P with your positive terminal and we connect the N with negative terminal. Means we perform the reverse thing in your reverse diode. In these conditions, since the reverse battery voltage is applied across the junction, the width of potential barrier increases. So width of potential barrier means this depletion region will increase due to this reverse connection. Okay, hence the current through diode is not possible, which indicates the very high resistance of the diode. Means in the second case, in reverse bias, due to negative connection, means we attach your P to negative and N to positive. Hence your this region will increase, and due to this region, it opposes the flow of current in your reverse diode. Okay? So in case of your forward bias, we connect the P with positive terminal and connect N with the negative terminal. Hence there is no depletion region in your forward bias. Hence the maximum current is flow through the forward bias. Okay? Okay, and in reverse bias there is the opposition of current in your forward bias case. Okay, so this is about your diode, PN junction diode, and its barrier potential, and forward bias and reverse bias. So diode is your electronic device in which the electric current flows in only in one direction. This is your diode. Okay. Next is your types of diode. Okay. So next is the type of diode. So in addition to the diode, there are the other kinds of semiconductor diode which are manufactured for the specific application. First one is your Zener diode. Second one is your LED, that is your light emitting diode. Third one is photodiode. Fourth one is your varactor diode. Fifth one is your Stocky diode. And the sixth one is your tunnel diode. So the first one is your Zener diode. Excuse me. The first one is your Zener diode. So Zener diode is designed to get a stable voltage, and it is operated in a reverse bias only. Okay. So now you all aware about the forward bias and the reverse bias. Okay. In case of your forward bias, we connect your positive, means your P region with positive and N region with negative. Whereas in the reverse bias, we connect your P with negative and N region with positive, right? So your Zener diode is designed to get a stable voltage, and it is always operated in a reverse bias only. So by adjusting the doping level, Zener diode offer different voltage from 2 to 200 volt, and with a different wattage are manufactured. So the Zener diode permits the current to flow in a forward direction as well as in a reverse direction. When the voltage exceeds breakdown voltage, that is your Zener voltage. The symbol for your diode is given here. So the triangular symbol and the horizontal line with the two arrows. Okay. So Zener diode may use avalanche breakdown or in a Zener breakdown mechanism. And the application of your Zener diode. So Zener diodes are used in a DC power supplies as a voltage regulator or in a special circuit to stabilize the voltage. Second one is your light emitting diode, that is your LED. So everyone is aware about the LED. So this diode plays an important role in indicator and displays. Okay, so LED is constructed with gallium, arsenic, phosphorus instead of silica and germanium. So when light emitting diode is in forward bias, it emits the light instead of heat generated by the normal diode. So when the PN junction is a forward bias, in case of LED, some of the holes combines with the electrons of N region, and some of the electrons from the N combines with the holes of your P region. And each recombination radiates the light or photons. And the LEDs are available in the three color: red, green, and yellow. Means your LED is a semiconductor light source that emits the light when the current flows through it. And the application of your LED, they are used in a 7-segment display as a panel indicator in the watches, calculator, digital meter, and as a switch on indicator on the power supply panel. A series resistance is always required with LED to limit the current, because if excess current flows through the LED may get damaged. So this is about your LED. It is your light emitting diode. And third one is your photodiode. So the function of this diode is opposite of your LED. It works oppositely with your LED. When the light is incident on it, it conducts. It manufactured with the cadmium selenide, cadmium sulfide in addition to your germanium and silicon. The current through photodiode depends on the light intensity, and the photodiode is normally operated in a reverse bias. Okay, whereas your LED are operated in a forward bias, right? Your photodiode is operated in a reverse bias. When it exposed to light, due to energy of light, electron and holes pair are generated. Therefore, the current flows through it. Okay, and the application for your photodiodes is in a computer punch card, light detector, sound reproduction of films projector, and the light operated switch. The photodiode is your semiconductor device that converts your light into the electronic current, whereas your LED that convert to light source that emits the light when current flow through it. Okay, means it works in a reverse order. When the light it emits the light when the current flow through it, and it converts your light into the electric current. The current is generated when the photons are absorbed in a photodiode, and the photodiodes may contain your optical fibers built in lenses and may have the large or the small surface areas. So this is your photodiode. The next is transistors. Okay, so transistor is a semiconductor device that is used to amplify or switch electronic signals and electrical power. Transistors are one of the basic building blocks of modern electronics. It is composed of semiconductor materials, usually with at least 3 terminals for the connection to an external circuit. A bipolar junction transistor is a type of transistor that uses both electrons and electron holes as a charge carrier. Okay, so basically this name transistor is made up of 2 terms: transfer of resistor, that is your transistor, because its resistance transfer from one value to other value depending on its bias. In other words, the current through transistor is controlled by bias. The bipolar means both holes and the electrons take part in carrying the current through transistor. Therefore, they are called as a bipolar transistor. So, the transistor also is an PN device, but with a 2 PN junction and 3 terminals, right? So, your transistor is nothing but your PN device, but it has a 2 PN junction, right? And 3 terminals. So 3 terminals. First one is your emitter, second is your base, and third one is your collector. Okay, means your transistor has it has a 2 PN junction, right? 2 PN junction, and again 3 terminal. So the 3 terminals are emitter, base, and collector. So your emitter that emits the electron. So emitter is that emits the electron. Base, which controls the this electron flow, and collector that collects this electron. Emitter emits electron, collector collects that electron, and base which controls this electron flow. So there are 2 types of bipolar transistor. First one is your NPN transistor, and second one is your PNP transistor. So NPN transistor, the transistor consists of 3 semiconductor regions, either of silicon, otherwise of germanium. As follow, the emitter, it is a heavily doped and medium in size. Base, it is lightly doped and thin in size, whereas the collector, it is a medium doped and large in size. Thus, the transistor has two p-n junction emitter, that is your base and base collector. So you can do the both things, means both junctions forward bias, otherwise both junctions are reverse bias, otherwise you can do one forward bias and other in a reverse bias. You can perform the combination of these three. Next is your transistor amplifier. So your transistor has two applications. First one is as an amplifier and a second one as a switch. Okay. So when it is used in amplifier, it operated in active region and avoid cutoff and saturation. Otherwise, it produces distorted signal. And transistor as an amplifier, diagram is given here. Okay. This is resistor, this is your capacitor, and this is your transistor. Okay. Collector, base, and emitter. So here in this diagram, it shows a typical signal stage for the amplifier with a voltage divider bias. This is your voltage divider bias. In this circuit, your R1 and R2 are used to operate the transistor at operating point Q. It provides the voltage divider bias, and the capacitor means it has two capacitors, this C1 and C2, right? So these two capacitors are called as a coupling capacitor. They are coupled AC signal, and your resistor RL is used as a collector load resistor. So input signal is given through the base, means this base. The input signal is given through this base, which passes the base current. It is amplified in the collector base, means your IC here. So IC is equal to beta IB. So the output voltage is taken from your collector. So this is your output voltage, right? So your output voltage is collected from your collector region, and your input voltage is provided from your base terminal. This is base, this is collector, this is emitter, right? So the figure shows the input signal that is applied to your transistor amplifier, and output is taken from your collector to ground. So there are total three cases. In the first case, when the signal is zero or the absent, what will happen? So in that case, when signal is zero or absent, it is known as your operating point. And when the signal is at peak, means when your signal is plus 1 millivolt, then your IP increases and IC also increases. Okay. And in case 3, when the signal is peak to minus 1 millivolt, then your IB as well as your IC, means these two, IB as well as your IC, these two also decreases, but your VCE, means this one, voltage at this side, VCE, increases. Okay. So this is about your amplifier that amplifies your current, your voltage. Okay. This is your application for your transistor. So this is your symbol of transistor. Your transistor has 3 terminal, base, collector, and the emitter, right? So your emitter is that emits the diode, collector collects that diode, and the base is which controls the flow of current. Okay, this region controls the flow of current. This is your transistor as an amplifier. The next is your transistor as a switch. Okay, so this is transistor, this is again second transistor. Okay, so here the transistor as a switch. So when the transistor is used as a switch, it operated either in cutoff or in a saturation region. It avoids the active region And in digital circuits like a gates in computer circuit, transistor is used as an electronic switch. Okay, it operated by applying input voltage either low or high at the base terminal. Means this is your base terminal. You can either apply high voltage, otherwise low voltage, and that are basically used in the gates. Okay, in the logical gates. Logical gates is your next chapter. So in that chapter, I will explain you what is a gate. Okay. So now just remember the thing. The transistors are used in your gates, in your logical gates. So in case first, so here you apply the voltage from this V. Okay. So in case first, when the V is 0, means you are this voltage VB. Why? This is your base terminal. Okay. So when your VB is 0, the base emitter junction, means your base and emitter junction, is in a reverse bias. The transistor goes into the cutoff and it is equivalent to open switch as known. Okay. When your this is 0. But when you apply the positive 5 voltage to your this terminal, the base emitter, means your base and the emitter junction is in a forward bias. The transistor is on and it goes in the saturation. So it is equivalent to closed switch as shown in the figure, this one. And the third, there are only two cases in your switch. First one is when the voltage is 0 and when the voltage is 5. Means it operates as a switch. Switch means switch is on means high voltage. Switch means switch is closed means low voltage. In this way, okay. It will work on only two voltages, either high or low. Okay, because it acts as a switch, na. So for the switch, you can either turn on the switch, otherwise turn off the switch. And the next is your switch mode power supply, that is your SMPS. So the SMPS is a modern type of DC regulator power mainly used in the computer and the television circuits. It consists of transformer, diode, rectifiers with a capacitor filter, but this gives an unregular DC output. A transistor regulator in which the transistor is operated as a switch, hence it is called as a switch mode power supply. Okay, so in your SMPS, instead of making the series pass transistor conducting continuously a transistor, it operated in switching mode that act as a rapidly opening and the closing switch. Okay, and practically when the transistor is open as a switch, it dissipates very small power. The advantages of your SMPS: it is small in size and low cost power supply. Again, next is low power dissipations result in the less heating, and next is your better regulation and efficiency. Okay, means the efficiency is high in case of your SMPS. Less heat is generated, reduce the harmonic feedback into the supply mains. Then the device is compact and small in size. Its manufacturing cost is also reduced, and provision for providing the required number of voltages. This is about the switch mode power supply, SMPS. So SMPS is a modern type of DC regulated power mainly used in computers and television circuits. And the second last topic from this chapter is the classification of your IC. Okay. So the first semiconductor integrated IC was developed in year 1958 by J.K. Keble. Then many different standard semiconductor ICs are developed. These digital ICs can be classified according to the semiconductor device, which is basically used as a basic block in manufacturing process of your microprocessor. And other ICs, these ICs are basically classified into two groups. Okay, the first one is your bipolar, second one is your unipolar. So your bipolar is again divided into two subcategories: saturated and non-saturated. And for saturated, there is a RTL, DTL, and TTL. So the long form for every ICs is given here. What is the RTL? It is your resistor transistor logic family. TTL, transistor logic family. Okay. And DTL is your diode transistor logic family. And about the non-saturated, it is ECL, Stocky, TTL. Okay. So ECL, it is the emitter coupled logic family. And for the TTL, again, it is a transistor logic family. And for the unipolar technology, there are again three types. There are three examples: NMOS, PMOS, and CMOS. NMOS is N-channel MOSFET family. CMOS is a complementary MOSFET. And PMOS is P-channel MOSFET family. So in a bipolar technology, the bipolar transistor like NPN transistor are used to construct the logical circuit, and in a saturated bipolar family, the transistor are driven into the saturation, while in the non-saturated family, the transistor are operated slightly below the saturation to reduce the propagation delay. And in case of your unipolar technology, the unipolar transistor MOSFETs are used to construct the semiconductor ICs. This is about your IC. ICs are nothing but your electronic circuits that are used in your microprocessor, in many of the electronic components. So this is about your ICs. Okay. So here we are going to stop. So your chapter number first from CS part 2, it's completed here. If you have any question and the doubt, you can ask me.